All right, it looks like my technical difficulties have finally been resolved. Sweet, cool. One of the great things about being out in the wilderness is that things don't always go the way that you want them to go. So, hi, birds. And we got some birds out here trying to get some nuts. Got some nuts that I brought out for all the deer. But the birds seem to come and appear when they are near. Anyways, I'm excited to be with you here today and would love to chat with you in the live chat. I'm going to interact and see what's going on in your lives. Hey, little squirrel. Squirrel probably wants some nuts too. But recently, I had some interactions in a flat Earth chat group, which happened in Mark Sargent's live stream on Tuesdays. It happens every week. And as many of you know, I recently went on the show, and leading up to that, it kind of brought me back into the flat Earth community arena. Whereas when I first woke up to flat Earth truth, I was like, okay, the Earth is flat. Where are the spiritual truths? Where are these deeper things that are available to us, as opposed to sitting and talking about flat Earth for a long time? And obviously, there's a lot of different evidences and things that we can dive into to prolong that topic's relevancy. But for me, I was just like, all right, the earth is flat. Like, let's move on to personally, I was interested in the original teachings of Christ, which is why I got to the Essenes and eventually to the Holy Megillah to begin with. And I wouldn't change that for the world. So, anyways, I was semi recently, on their show, and that got me involved more in the live chats and trying to go on their show and just be involved in what was going on in that community to spread the word. And flat earth is really important, but I think that our spiritual situation and the truth of our reality on a spiritual side is so much more important to the situation than flat earth. Flat earth, compared to spiritual truths and connection with the feminine divine and reincarnation and all of these different aspects, is such a shallow teaching. It's like kind of kindergarten compared to the higher spiritual truths. If you want to do what Christ said that we can do, the same things that he did, you can do the things that I did, even greater. That's literally in the mainstream Bible. Getting caught up on things like flat earth or other material things isn't exactly the most beneficial, because you could be spending that time learning how to meditate and how to connect with the spiritual side, the spiritual divine within you, that can help you manifest great things and bring about change in your life and in the world around us. If everyone woke up to flat earth tomorrow, that would change some things. Like, for instance, if they try to do the alien, the blue beam deception, people would be like, wait, we already understand that we're not on a giant spinning ball, and you little green goblins are demonic. You're interdimensional entities that are not coming in peace, even if you say you are. So there's definitely some change if people woke up to flat earth. I personally know people that went from being devout atheists to like, and they were actually like, teaching people these lessons, like as a teacher and stuff like that, that woke up to flat earth truth and quit their career and went a different path because of finding that truth, right? And so I think that it is extremely important, not trying to discredit flat earth at all. I'm still a flat earther, and that will never change. But I also do not I think that there's a lot of problems with the flat earth community in general and the truther community in general, and what we are, how we can get stuck in different things and miss bigger and deeper truths because we're so focused on one little thing. And obviously, some people could be like, hey, you're stuck on the Megillah. But for me, this has literally changed my life. And if I could offer one bit of advice, honestly, it's to read this. It's not even, hey, you want to sit down and talk about flat earth, because actually, this encompasses that in its own way. It does say, I'd like to be an apologist, is that what it's called, for this for one moment, that it does say the word planet, but if you actually read it from the beginning with understanding, all of this stuff is taking place within the mother ovum. And this has been more semi recently translated, and those that are doing the translations have not been woken up to flat earth truth yet. That has not been revealed to them at this point in time. And I also, even just saying that, understand why God and Goddess would be like, hey, why don't you focus on translating the actual scrolls from Hebrew to English and getting the message out, rather than having your mind blown about flat earth. It's like, we could talk about that later. Let's get the scriptures out and have that known to the people, so that at least those spiritual truths can be known and understood, especially in the time that we are in. This literally talks about people merging with AI and the path that we're on, and how government is, eventually we give control over government and different systems to this AI, this master brain, and it turns out to be really bad. Big surprise, right? The master brain comes along and is like, okay, well, your grandma, she's in the nursing home, and you know what? She takes more resources than she can give. So she's, you know, sorry, we know you love her, but the master brain doesn't care about your emotions and how you feel. Think about COVID. I know I gotta like um walk on eggshells with different topics. But like, for instance, there was a lot of people put in places that, I think I should be fine talking about this, but like the nurses or whatever would have to make decisions based on what life to save, or where those resources that they had, the limited resources, could be allocated. Because if you have a whole mass of people that need something, you need a way that, especially you think about the way that the government thinks about us, or the goyim, or the cattle, were their we're just their commodities in some ways. Um, when you introduce this master brain, the master brain is going to be able to say, okay, well, we have their intake. We know who this person is. We see their social score. We see what they bring into society, how much they take, and all of these different factors. And that's going to be what determines whether you are given those life-saving resources or you're not, whether you are given the food or you're not, whether you choose to link up to AI and the hand or in the brain, right? And these different areas, different ways that they're going to try to create transhuman artificials from that. And we're going to see these literal prophecies that coming to pass. So the whole reason that I got on that tangent was because I think that this is really, really important for people to see. And that is why I am keeping on about it. And plus, this is my channel, and I'm gonna do what I feel led to do. And, if you don't want to hear about it, then go somewhere else. This is what I am passionate about. And I think that this is what's going to change our world. I would love to talk about other things too. So I'm not opposed to that. But yeah, I think there are deeper truths that a lot of people are getting caught up on, and we should be seeking those deeper truths, which kind of leads into the recent topic that was going on Mark's show, which was biblical cosmology. And if you guys know me, I came from a biblical background. I was born and raised in a mainstream Christian church. Like, my dad went to Oral Roberts University. He was the youth pastor at my church, and like, we were very engulfed in that culture, and like they made a lot of sacrifices in order to, like, they weren't rich by any means, but they made sure that the money they bring in got my older sister, me, and my two younger brothers. There's one in between kids, but they made sure that we all got the experience of going through like a private Christian school because they wanted to make sure that we were in an environment that would bring about the right fruits, right? Your children are blank slates, in the environment that you raise them in and the teachings that they're engulfed in and around are very, very important. So for us, like, we had Bible class the first thing every day. If it were not for like Wednesdays, we would have chapel, and so we would actually go in there and have praise and worship and a guest speaker and all this stuff. But even further than that, every subject throughout the day, if there was a way that they could relate it to God and whatever, like, there was always like a religious underlying tone of our education. So I come from that background, and I love Christ, and there's nothing that could like really separate me from that. And so I'm really grateful for these higher spiritual teachings that actually align with what my soul knows to be the truth, as opposed to this idea of God is angry and jealous, and if you do something wrong against God, you need to now go and capture some doves and some sheep and whatever, and then go take that down to the priests so that they can slaughter it on the altar, and then hopefully God will forgive you. And that's just one wrongdoing, right? Like, and these are your beliefs and stuff. And so once I started really questioning things, that's when I woke up to flat earth. It led into this whole awakening of everything. It wasn't just like, oh, let me question like these physical aspects. I question my religion as well. And I feel like in the truth or community, so many people can't, refuse to, won't, whatever the verb is there, or whatever the situation is, they have problems questioning the religious programming. And it's so frustrating. Like, I know I'm actually, like, I understand in some ways I'm a little bit late to the party because I was a very Bible devout, for a very long time, even after becoming a flat earther. And I know that I've had interactions with people that were trying to awaken me to Christ's universal love and the different path that is just like, okay, you're a Hindu, you're a Buddhist, you came from an Aronite Christianity. Hi, little birdie. It's okay. It's just a peanut. Aw. Um, that's okay. We're all trying our best and we're doing what we can from the situation that we're in. And we all have the intent to find God and these higher powers within the parameters of like doing good. So, um, I know that in some ways I'm a little bit late to the party, but in other ways the average truther is so far behind. And then not only are they unwilling to question their religious beliefs, but the way that they go about trying to share them, which, hey, I'm guilty of myself. So I am also seeing I can see it in a different perspective of I've been there myself, so I get it. And also I need to take what I'm learning and how I'm feeling from this situation into other situations as well. So, like, when I'm feeling unfairly treated, or all of these different things in different situations, I need to be like, okay, well, if I'm in this position of power or authority or whatever, I need to make sure that I don't leave other people feeling like that. And I already know that I have, like, even my Facebook groups and stuff, when people like come at me sideways, I've just been like, all right, well, just get out of my group, right? And potentially treated them unfairly as well. So there's a karmic thing in it, and there's also an understanding and learning of deeper things as well. Um, that's not really why I was trying to get off on that tangent, but um, are you talking to me being blocked? So, anyways, sorry, I got distracted a little bit by the birds there and was on a tangent about stuff. But anyways, if you can't question your religion, if you can't question your belief system, then you really can't consider yourself a truther. And I think I've heard some really amazing redemptive stories about Christ in general, that people have been or brought up, enlightened, lifted up, brought into higher light places by the Christ soul, the Christ spirit, the hand of mercy that pulled them up. And often we get put into the Bible, because the mainstream Bible, because that's all that is given to us. But I think that at a fundamental level, especially those people that may be coming into it, people have an underlying issue at a soul level with the Old Testament God that is jealous and angry and wrathful and requiring you to do the animal sacrifices and all of that. But then we're almost gaslighted in a way that if you question this book, it's the infallible word of God, then your salvation and your position with your creator is at risk, or you might get thrown into a lake of fire, right? I think we all want God and Goddess to be loving and kind, and I'm really grateful that I have found the Megillah, because it is the religion of truth, or the religion of love, and that truth goes so deep that they love us, and they are like the best parents ever that are just waiting to forgive us and bring us back into the fold and bring us into higher realms of existence, consciousness, and bliss, higher and deeper spiritual understanding and knowledge and truth and all this exciting things. So I really wish that people would be more accepting, but so often in the truther community, we're experiencing this wall that you hit with people that are not willing to question that. And whether it's because of their programming or fear or whatever, they're like globe earthers that will ridicule you, that will even kind of worse, because they do it like in the name of God, and they will essentially condemn you and make up lies about you. In this chat room last night, someone was saying that I was only there for the followers. And listen, if I was here for followers, there are so many things that I would do that would bring in followers, and I would stop doing controversial things like this. Even this message that I'm teaching is controversial. Like, so much of what I do, I understand, is not actually gaining me followers. If that was my intent, then I would do things differently. Okay, I'm not an idiot. Okay, I would do stuff differently if that's what I was trying to do. I'm trying to spread the message. Whether you follow me or not, I don't care. Read the Megillah and find your connection with the divine within, so that this world can become a better place. That's really all that I care about. I don't care if people follow me. The reason that I do want people to follow me is so that I can point them to these higher teachings and a higher way of being, so that we can make a better world. And it's not because it's like, hey, look at me. It's, hey, look at these other things. These changed my life. Like, I came from darker places, and this brought me to higher places of existence. So it's not a look at me, it's a look at this, look at how cool. Think about how awesome this world would be if we all adhered to and were against animals, and we all knew the true nature of the divine that's that's outside and within. A recent conversation that I had, well, it wasn't really much of a conversation, but their Facebook post was basically saying that to, use God's out of context to be a son of God, that you need to act a certain way. And I was trying to explain to them that the reason that it says ye are gods is because we are all part of that divine spark of Yah. That spark is within us all. And so we are all gods and goddesses, and that divinity is something that we should just be excited about. Like, I am, we get to exist, we get to be, we get to continue on after this reality. And that's really, really exciting. And that's why we are gods and goddesses, regardless of how we act. Even our brothers and sisters, those ones that choose the dark path are still divine and they have lost their way, and we should remind them how to shine and find that divinity within and remember that immortality that their souls naturally already have so that we can make the world a better place. And so, yeah, back to the reason that this whole thing happened. Yesterday, I was in the live chat of Mark's show and chatting in general with people and kind of just saying like why is it that truthers can't question the Bible? One person I was interacting with, I was talking about how Jesus wasn't actually his real name. He was never called that, and Yeshua is his name. How the Megillah talks about the name Yeshua being chanted for the well-being and salvation of the world. And ever since I was on that show, there's been one specific person named Rebecca who basically started going to town in a negative way while I was on the live stream. And then after that, they came at me negatively, like when I was actually just in the chat, and they were just, just coming at me sideways about the Megillah and its authenticity, and like trying to say that it was like a Gnostic text and all of these things, and like undermining my knowledge of it and who I am essentially. And at one point I was just like, I didn't come here to interact with demons, so I just want to, like, whether I mean, I kind of was calling her a demon, but I understand that it's people's demons that are controlling them, and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with these demonic forces that keep people in strongholds. If you are a globe earther and you want to argue about it, I don't want to do that. You can go argue with someone that's willing to expend that kind of energy with you, but I'm only wanting to, especially at this point, interact with people and go back and forth with people that, okay, I should say, and as a general rule of thumb, that's the only kind of interactions that I have, that I want people that are actually wanting it. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time. There's an occasional time that I will interact with someone who's not ready, because I understand that other people are reading the conversation and they're ready to learn. They just maybe aren't involved in the conversation. Maybe they don't want to put themselves out there. Maybe whatever reason, they're not going to necessarily start commenting, but they're still reading, and those seeds can still be planted, whether or not the person that you're interacting with can be reasoned with or not. Anyways, so I blocked Rebecca because I did not want to deal with that energy. I wasn't trying to be like this confrontational and like try to defend myself when I'm just there to try to preach. It's like, hey guys, we're in the time of the sixth trumpet when people merge with AI, and this stuff can be averted, and just trying to teach people like a general little outreach mission and try to connect with other flat earthers that are on the path. One of the first chats that I went in after my show, someone was like, I just ordered or just received, one of those two. I just got my copy of the Megillah. And so I know that people are there and they're wanting interaction in different ways, but it's not really happening. And so, anyways, there's been multiple times since I blocked this person that I've gone in the chat and they've seen that I have been interacting, and they start throwing shade at me and saying lies and just attacking me in general. And in the time that I got blocked, someone was like, or that I blocked them, I'm sorry. In the time before that I blocked Rebecca, I was just like, I don't want to deal with demons or whatever. And then I blocked them. And then one of the moderators came in and said, oh, Queen Anana, you need to keep it friendly. It's just like, okay, so these people are allowed to attack me, but if I say I don't want to deal with demons, then all of a sudden I'm the one that's not being friendly and I'm the one that needs to be reprimanded. Like, I just see it for what it is, that they are insecure. Well, I'll just be really nice and just say that they find pleasure in the pain of others, and they want to try to, control the chat and try to be like making me feel small like a child, like I need to be reprimanded for saying one thing back in a nice manner too. Like I said it with a smiley face. I'm just like, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. And so like have a good day. Like goodbye. I'm just going to shut this down and I'm going to only be dealing with people that want to deal with it." It was not even mean in any way, but yet I'm the one that gets reprimanded. And it's happened with the same moderator multiple times, and last night it happened as well. Like you need to learn how to control yourself, and it's just like the last thing that I said to you was, yes, I am here to watch, but I'm also here to interact with people. And I would like to, most importantly, I'm here to speak the truth of our reality with a smiley face. And that was like, you need to learn how to control yourself. And it's just like this energy of like, we feel smaller than you, so we need to put you in your place so that you can feel small, so that we feel better about ourselves, and that you go home feeling bad about yourself, and all of this energy that I know is demonic. And it's very irritating, but this is exactly what it seems that the truther community is on a large scale, especially because of the fact that the whole awakening has basically been tailored. They knew that we were going to be awakened. They knew that certain triggers were going to be happening and that certain things were going to be happening in the divine plan. And they literally set out a whole network of people that we would be awakened by and would fall under their spell and would be tuning into and basically be contained by, so that we're in these little bubbles and that we never burst out of them and actually find the real truths of our reality that include, and most importantly, the spiritual truths about the fact that your soul is already immortal. They can't be having you knowing these things. Like even the biblical narrative paints God in such a bad picture that it's so sad. Like as loving and great as Christ is in your Bible, it still makes God out to be this jealous, angry, wrathful, warmongering, bloodthirsty psychopath. That's not your true creator, and that's not a reflection of the divine within. And so yeah, it's just really frustrating. But I can see that one of the things with flat Earth, especially, is people are like, oh, the Bible says that the Earth is flat. So therefore, that confirms my belief in the Bible. And then I never have to question it or anything, right? I was in that for a brief moment. The Bible, okay, it must be true because it has this ancient knowledge. Ancient Egyptian scrolls have flat earth truth. Ancient Hindu scrolls have flat earth truth. Muslim scrolls have flat earth truth. Literally every ancient religion in their either in depictions or their actual scrolls talk about the enclosed realm that we live in. So flat earth being part of it does not mean that the rest of everything else is true. And it feels like so many truthers haven't gotten that yet. And they see everything in our world and they're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense in the parameter of this. I'm going to check that off, check this off, check this off. The mark of the beast, this, Satanists run our world. All of these things just go to solidify that underlying fundamental belief. And um, they're part of the sacrificial cult. That's what it is. It's a sacrificial cult that was literally started by the false Yahweh at the beginning of the fall, and has branched out into all these different religions under the guise of different ways of being, but they're all regarding animal sacrifice and eating the flesh of innocents and these underlying satanic teachings that keep people enslaved to demons. The reason that they want you to eat the flesh of innocents in the first place is that they can come in and start to influence you and start to live vicariously through you. They'll be like, "Oh, I thought I was going to die because I wasn't eating meat." The parasite, the demon that's attached to you was going to die because it wasn't going to get meat. You just don't understand how to separate your own feelings from that demon because you've been so integrated. Every meal you're sitting down and eating with that demon, every snack, it's just it's a lot for people to take in, and it goes right along. It's like it's in every religion, and until you're ready to question that, like I've said before, everyone can wake up to flat earth tomorrow and it'll change a lot, but there's different deeper truths that would actually fundamentally change the reality that we are in, and that includes returning to the fleshless diet. We literally deserve to be enslaved if we enslave animals. Every flat earther, if you are smart enough to figure out flat earth, you should be smart enough to figure out that simple karma. If you enslave others, you deserve to be enslaved. It doesn't matter what species they are. It's just slavery deserves slavery, and that's just how it is in the karmic systems. The ones that are ruling over us know that, and they use these things to their advantage. So to our detriment, and to literally enslave us and our children and everything else. So something that we need to be considerate of. So anyways, I'm going to say hi to the live chat. It's been like half an hour that I just been rambling about, so I apologize about that, but I thank you for being here. Interesting title, but there was and still is some degree still drama in the flat earth truther community. I definitely agree with that, and frankly, like I was saying, that the powers that be and how they've kind of orchestrated this network of characters for us all to, fall in line with. There's always going to be this drama and infighting and different division, because realistically they need that. They understand that essentially that's going to keep humans, to keep us all divided is going to keep us from literally uniting against them and formulating a plan. If we're all on the same page, then in that unity, there's power, and there's a way that we can unite our minds and souls into creating a world that goes against them. And frankly, they can't have that. So they need this division in the truther community. They need the truther community to even still have different divisions of religion. For me, I don't care what the truth is, just tell us the truth, and let's all put all of our opinions and beliefs down and be like, all right, if this is the truth, the circle of truth right over there, let's all just go stand in that. And that's the best place that we could all be. Just let everything else go. Let's just do that, right? And that's the world that we can live in. But they're trying to keep us all out of that. And anyways. Hello, booty doodles. What do you feel about Alan Watts? Honestly, I don't have any opinion on that, because the name rings a bell, but I couldn't tell you anything about them at this moment in time. So yeah. Uh, hello, Z Proxy. Looking good, girl. Thank you. I was hoping that we'd also get some deer from down the hill. Earlier, there was a deer that was over there by the picnic table that you can't see, and they're just like laying around in the woods. And it's really, really nice when nature is just at peace and the animals come up to you and they're like excited to be your friend. And they'll eat right out of your hand, and you can like give them a little pet and all of these things. We should be living in harmony and peace with them. And it's really exciting. Like, I I would not necessarily have considered myself like an animal person before going vegan, and I'm not going to say that I'm going to be like a cat lady or have a bunch of pets or anything, but I would love to have a cow sanctuary and like be around animals. Going vegan has really opened up my heart to so much love for the animals and just wanting to be in those situations where I get to interact with them and show my love for them and feel like try to just I guess it's harder to feel their love for us, because so often they're so like, they're coming here for the food, but that like any noise they hear is like, oh man, they're always on edge because we have put them on edge. And anyways, it's just cool to be here to, get all these interactions with animals. David D says already double digits. They come for the drama. Well, that is definitely true, unfortunately. Hello, Bob. Bob says, wow, I just checked into my motel in Lacey. Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad that your travels are going well, and sorry that we couldn't meet up when you were passing through. I'm not really sure how often you get on any of the Flat Earth live streams or anything like that with that topic. I know that you're into a lot of the alien disclosure and stuff like that. So I'd be interested to know, Bob, what flat earth channels maybe you subscribe to and go on their live streams and stuff like that. Artist says in there is more in life than flat earth, like healthy lifestyle. Exactly. I definitely agree. Hello, Warren. Are you the Israelite? We, the people, trust in God, know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Then God said, I give you every seed bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. Absolutely. To all the beasts of the earth, all the birds in the sky, all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food, and it was good. And along with that, one of the cool things that a lot of us have yet to discover is like the hemp plant cannabis and consuming that as well in a not smoking manner, but even the way that Nazarenes would do boiled bud. I've met people before that would put it in their salads, different ways that that interacts with our system to bring about higher heavens in our world. I'm really excited to see what the future holds with what things that we can replace with cannabis and the plastics, and just it'll be really really nice. I'm really excited for it. There's just no, I don't even know. I don't know the extent of how much hemp can be used, but I know that it's going to be used to literally save Mother Earth from the destruction, from all of the rainforests that are being destroyed, not really for paper. A lot of people, like a lot of you growing up, people say things like paper destroying the rainforest, but so much of that is due to animal agriculture. So thankfully that will be gone. But paper, clothing, plastics, so much can be replaced with hemp, and it not only grows really fast, but it biodegrades really fast. So all of the waste products that, or all of the products that are made with it, can literally be biodegraded in a rapid manner, in a healthier manner. It's going to be exciting. Stevie says there are no flat earther atheists. That is true. I have never met any, and realistically, how could you be when you understand that we're living inside of an enclosed system? There has to be a creator of some sort, whether you believe that is God or aliens or whatever it is. It's still something. It's still a creator. Artist says, I was amazed how many toxic people there are in the flat earth community. That is so true. And like I was also kind of trying to say before, when I woke up to flat earth, I really didn't stay around in the flat earth. Like, I'm not going on flat earth live streams and other things like that. It's like there's other topics to talk about that are more important. Like, okay, the earth is flat, let's move on. And what brought me back into going on these weekly live streams was actually being on Mark's show. So I'm also trying to remind myself that it's really not a big loss for these people to have not only just attacked me. This Rebecca person was, every time I come in, just attacking me, and then if I say something back, then I'm the one that's reprimanded by the admins, which is literally just not fair. I really dislike unfair treatment. I'm a Libra moon, and fairness and being treated the right way and righteous judgment is really, really important to me. And when I am not treated that way, I find it very hard to deal with. But I'm also just trying to remind myself that this situation, I already knew what it was coming in. So why did I even get myself attached? Because I already knew what it was going in, and I shouldn't have, because yeah. Anyways, just all comes back to reminding myself to not get attached to things, and um, also to not treat others the way that sometimes we get treated. It can be easy to justify treating people the way that we treat them because we've been treated that way, but it's really not nice. An eye for an eye just leaves the world blind. And in the Megillah, we read about violence only begets violence. And so living in a different way, in a different vibration, in a different path is really important. And yeah, I don't know why I got off on that tangent, but yeah, there's a lot of toxic people in the flat earth community, and a lot of that is by design. And like I said, I will remain a flat earther. It is very, very obvious that we live inside of an enclosed realm. The Megillah proposes two, well, there's room in it for two different realities. First of all, it takes place inside the mother ovum. So that's not an outer space like we've been taught, this infinite, you know, all that mainstream stuff. Um, but in the Megillah, there is potential for two different realities where there are, on one hand, multiple different flat worlds where you kind of have that space idea, but inside of the cosmic egg, and there are different worlds that would still be flat earth worlds inside of the greater cosmic egg, or a different kind of solar system where there is a temple in the sun where that is the creator. And there are other belief systems where basically when your soul graduates through these ovums and you become a Christed soul, when you pass the lessons, when you ascend, when you align with Yah's way and you go up, that when you make your mark, then you can actually become an Abram or Sarah and be the priest or priestess of that higher realm in the solar system. So long story long, the sun would just be, okay, well, this sun, that's now the world that we're living in. And so this is the normal flat earth realm that you picture with just one sun, and then that world plays out and it goes to completion, it ends, and then another sun comes in, and then that's the main sun of that next world, which contains another priest and priestess, and it kind of just rotates like that through an actual cycle, with the flat earth being exactly how we normally thought that it was. Like I said, this stuff is being translated, like it's still being finished as we speak, and am honored to get to be part of that. I'm super, super excited. But we're all given different truths at different times, and in the quality or quantities that we can digest them or deal with them. And some people haven't woken up to flat earth. It hasn't come across their radar. Some people don't get on social media. Some people don't get on Facebook. Some people don't get on YouTube. Some people do not do the internet at all. So them coming across flat earth or any of these other topics is going to be a lot more rare than the average Joe. And so them coming to these truths might be more rare. And we need to understand that and have patience and compassion and love for people that are not awake yet, and not discard scripture just because those who have not been opened to the possibility of flat earth truth have translated it. And so anyways, back to the live chat. That's just my opinion about it. These teachings are just so great. I can't say enough about them. So Booty Doodle says the invert thing is so much more important and will prove the spiritual side. I definitely agree that the invert side is important as well. It's really kind of unfortunate how the transvestigation groups have devolved into just mocking these souls. And, at first I also laughed and was just like, oh my gosh, that is a clown. And yeah, I did that too. At this point, though, I'm just like, wow, I'm really sad because, first of all, if that was my child, I would be really, really sad that they've lost their way so badly that they have become that. Um, and even if they're not my child, they're my brother or my sister, and spiritually, they're not in a good place. And it's like, it's not something to laugh about. It's not actually there's nothing funny about it, actually. Like, they might be acting like clowns, but at the end of the day, their souls are really lost, and it's really not funny. So I've debated shutting down the invert groups that I run just because of that. It's just like, these groups are not. I really wish that they were helping people in a different manner, and also just putting out more loving vibrations. But I also understand that they are serving to help awaken humanity. And so I'm stuck in this place of awakening humanity, and the tools that we're using to awaken humans are not exactly being used in the most loving manner. And I don't know how to, like, even fix that. There's already a precedent that's been set, and things are already in motion. It's kind of just like, I don't know how you would even stop it. So, yeah. Anyways, I do agree that it's important, though. And if you don't know what we're talking about, my Transvestigation 101 video is up, and you should be able to find that. And yeah. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seeds in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Amen. DVD says that the flat earth community that follows Mark Sargent's show are biblical zealots. That is definitely true. And I've already known that, and it makes sense why. I get it. I totally understand why I get shunned and banned, and kind of, you know, I'm the liability that is not going to make you more popular, and that's going to bring in truths that push away a lot of people, being that the mainstream biblical cult is like the biggest one that there is. And sure, some of them have woken up to flat earth, but they're still tied to that religious stuff. And so catering to them and making your whole show about preaching to them, and just making an environment where they're happy and safe and nobody ever interrupts their bubble. And who cares about the truth, right? Let's just get all of the flat earth Christians to unite, and that's what's good enough, because we only care about our following and whatever we're supposed to be doing, or whatever. Who knows what these people think? Who knows how they feel? I'm just speculating, like, whatever. I get it. I totally get it if that is how it is. The truth is not popular, and, like, literally, we see that Christ got rejected, Miriam got rejected, and we really, on their mission as ambassadors for them, we can't be surprised when we're rejected as well. And when people think that they know Christ, and that they're so confident and in their religion and the way that they're going, people were like that in his day too, and they were wrong. And he was just like, look at this one. That it's hard to accept that the Bible, the Aaronic Torah that you were raised to believe is the true word of God, is in fact the words of men, and that some of those men were influenced not by God but by demonic entities. Yet that is the honest truth. This is actually a quote from Christ from the Holy God spell. And they did try to have this Aaronite outreach where they were trying to show people that believed in the Aaronite Bible that this was literally Christ standing in front of you, trying to tell you that your Bible is wrong, and you're going to be like, sorry, but I still got to cling on to this. Like, there were converts that basically accepted him as the Messiah of peace, but still clung to their Old Testament because that was just so ingrained in them that they could not let that go. There was a path for them that is there for you too, by the grace of Jaja, that allows for us to accept Christ as the Messiah of peace, that he came to fulfill all of those Old Testament prophecies. And now we are moving on to the higher teachings of love, and this universal teaching of love, and do unto others as you would have them do unto you, love your neighbor as yourself, love God, and just all these positive teachings. There were people that were literally in his presence that were, I don't understand that from where I am, because when I found the Old Testament teachings, the Nazarene book of Genesis, like, it it made so much more sense, and that is the God that I, at a fundamental soul level, connect with. I do not connect with the God that is jealous and angry and wrathful, and that requires you to go out and slaughter some pigeons because you did something wrong. You might have something in you that pulls you to that, and I did at one point too. It was my program. It was from childhood, that's what I was taught, and there was fear in that. There's, if you don't believe this, you're not gonna go to heaven. You're gonna be in hell for eternity, and God's not gonna accept you, and all of these different negative things that get you to accept and believe that whole religious framework. And so for me, it's actually kind of like crazy that people would still want to cling to the Aaronite Bible when they're standing like right in front of Christ and he's like, these scriptures are wrong. And they're like, nah, I'll accept you in this position, but not in the others. And I don't know, it's just kind of funny. But how much worse are things now when people are programmed even further in this religion and the flesh eating goes right along with it and not wanting to give up those addictions of habit and holiday and happiness and all of the things. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, they're biblical zealots, and that's really, really hard to fight against. It actually reminds me of the truth that's spoken of in the Megillah about how it's often just shut down. Like, people don't accept it. It goes forth into the world in these times of war that is really important. Specifically, right now, it's important that people hear these prophecies about AI. And sure, in the Bible, you hear about the mark of the beast, and there's some vague things and whatever, but this literally lays it out so blatantly and clear. Like, if people read this, we could literally change the direction that the world is going. Um, so them being these biblical zealots is really frustrating, because it's like the truther community is supposed to bring these hidden truths to the world. Sure, flat earth sounds crazy, but guess what? It's true. Sure, the fact of the matter of Christ and Miriam working together sounds crazy, but guess what? It's true. The fact that you are an immortal soul that already has eternal life, and what your words, thoughts, and deeds matter, that sounds crazy, but it is true, right? So these things that go against our programming are constantly like, that sounds crazy, but guess what? It's true, and we have to be willing to, especially if you want to label yourself a truther, to question those things and change. It can be really disheartening. I'm coming back around to this, the flat earth community that follows Mark being biblical zealots, because there are a lot of them. And when you go in there and start saying things against the Bible or whatever, they will attack you and belittle you and treat you very badly, which realistically, if they actually believed the things that they were saying, they wouldn't be attacking you. Go believe this or else you're going to hell. It's like, whoa, like, are that's not the right energy that you come at someone with if you're actually concerned that they're going to go to hell. That's when you're angry and you're coming from a place of ego and like all those other self emotions. Like, that's not Christ behavior. So you already know when they start with that kind of stuff, that energy, like, that they're not coming from the right place. Um but even further than just this Rebecca person that has been attacking me, last night, one of the mods jumped in and was like, "You need to learn how to control yourself." After I said literally one nice comment that was like, "Yeah, I am here to watch, but I'm also here to talk about the truth of our reality, and that's more important. Like, that's the most important thing." And they're like, "You need to control yourself." It's like, okay. But then Carol, who is involved with the International Truther Expo, which I've been very nice to in general, and like said hey to in the chat and all these other things, was like, "Hey, are you coming site?" And I was like, "I don't really know yet," and I was actually considering going, and then some of these different things started happening in the chat, and then all of a sudden this person starts to call me a demon, and like demons are in the chat and all this stuff because, well, I mean, I was not attacking people and all of what we're talking about. I'm being called a demon, and that's just how. So it's just, I guess, good timing because I was actually thinking about going because I would really love to connect with other truthers and be able to like, well, before I actually wanted to meet Mark, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll go take Mark one of the Megillahs. And like I was excited about it. And now I'm just like, oh yeah, remember that you already knew what you were getting yourself into when you started dealing with all of these people, and now all of these things are happening, and you already knew that it was going to happen because you already knew what you're getting yourself into. And yeah, so anyways, I guess I'm glad that I didn't buy my tickets for the International Truther Expo. Hello, Boston Ray Mudflood Adventures. Don't take it too seriously. It's a crapshoot. Sorry that happened to you. Definitely. I'm trying not to take it too seriously and like just remind myself that these were never my people to begin with, and so it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. I have not been supported from the flat Earth community in this those flat earthers ever realistically, and so yeah, and I'm not really part of their community anyway, so who really cares? Just it really just sucks that I keep hitting this wall where like truthers are so stuck in their religion and they refuse to question the Bible, and it's very disheartening, and I'm just like trying to keep my own hope to be able to break through and get to a better world when these people will not question some of the things that are literally keeping us in this hell to begin with. Bob says, I never stop being amused about highly spiritual types still believing in the spinning globe model. I definitely agree with that. But also I'm still trying to like have compassion and remind myself too to know that God and Goddess are working with everyone in their own time. And there's other things that potentially those people are going through that it just hasn't come across their path yet. And so yeah, it's frustrating, but also trying to like be forgiving and compassionate and understanding in that as well. Artist says that often said you take the stab for someone else. Now it's proven only maybe can protect yourself. I'm not really sure what you mean with that, but hello, I am Josh Mudge. You do you, boo. Well, I definitely will be doing me, and that will probably not be including being on Mark's show anymore. Hey, they're not. Yeah. Religion is a tough topic. I definitely agree. And even tougher when people are not willing to question, but like so much more frustrating when people consider themselves truthers and they're still not willing to question. It's just like, stop calling yourself truthers. Either stay in your religion and do what you've been doing, or question absolutely everything and really find the path. Howard Walker, hello. I came across you like at 2018-19 time because of Flat Earth. I have such a hard time with religious flat earthers. To me, they are so hateful. Even I do not agree with you on some things, but I'm still here. I am still here. You are so positive and to me a very good heart. Plus, you love animals. Aw, thanks. I appreciate that. And yeah, we don't have to all agree on things, but we don't have to attack each other. Like, for instance, this Rebecca person, when I come into the chat room, stop talking to me. Don't talk about me. Just leave me alone. Right? Everyone just leave people alone. If they want to if they want to interact with you, they'll interact with you, and if they don't, then don't. Then you don't need to be forcing things, especially if you are pretending or claiming either side. I'll provide grace for the claimers. to be hands and feet of mercy. It's like we have a bigger responsibility to actually interact with people in a way that's going to bring them in and not push them further away. And if you actually believe that people's souls are on the line and that they're going to spend eternity in hell and all of these things, you should be handling it just like Christ did, in a loving manner and not attacking them and just, yeah, it's I didn't feel like this when I was growing up in mainstream Christianity, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you think that God is this jealous, angry, wrathful monster, and part of that stays in you. And for me, finding God and Goddess and this loving, parental, unconditional love and forgiveness and compassion and everything, that changed me and wanted me to, or made me want to be more like that and be that vessel for that kind of energy to come into this world, as opposed to all that energy that was before. And yeah, I'm not perfect, but the desire has changed, and that is linked to the fundamental change of knowledge of who God and Goddess are at a fundamental level. So yeah. um Hello, Delroy Cartwright. Hey, accidentally came across your channel first time in live already. You're another one of those synchronicities. Oh, cool. I love that. I would love to hear more information about that if you care to share. But all of these things that are, um, oh no, my battery's gonna die. Are happening to us are not happening on accident. And I actually read a poem before about synchronicities, which should still be on my YouTube here. I'm gonna scan through the chat really quick because my computer is gonna die. But well, actually, I could. Hi. I was gonna say I could probably use my phone, but um, some of these programs, if I was holding my phone, it wouldn't let me put the volume low enough, and you would still hear it no matter what. Okay. Boston Ray says that don't let being hidden from one chat bother you. It happens all the time. I get blocked from chats left and right. That is true, and I will definitely take that to heart. It is very just frustrating, and it's kind of um, an echo of a larger problem in the truther community, and how, again, so many of these like conspiracy things and the channels that you watch. Even when I was waking up too, I found the Torah followers and the biblical people that would explain what's going on in the light of the Bible, right? And so it's this, you kind of everything gets confirmed to you because you keep tuning into the people that are confirming it to you, and then it's like, okay, everything makes so much sense, and all this stuff is like, there's a reason that the Bible is a bestseller in this world, and that it's so promoted. And another thing that I've been noticing with people that cling to the Bible is so often that they will believe anyone who comes along and says those exact things. If they say that they are a Christian, if they say that they are, if they quote the Bible, anything, it's just like Trump will say one perverted thing and then in the next sentence say praise be to Jesus, and everyone is going to be just cheering the praise be to Jesus and just ignore whatever wrong thing that was happening. If Biden came on the scene and started quoting the Psalm of David, then people would just love Biden, and they would probably elect Biden as their president. Like, it's so easy to manipulate these people by just saying that you agree with their religious beliefs. And I'm sure that there are people in other religions that have the same issue. So it's not like just a mainstream Christian thing, but it's very unfortunate that that is the case, that they're so easily sweet, that they're so easily manipulated in that way. Oh, Boston Ray says I'm blocked on everyone's channel. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Hello, Dave. Dave says you can't call yourself a truther and then just stop your spiritual searching at the mainstream Bible. There's so much more. Read the Holy Megillah. Exactly. And I know that you and I'm really excited to be in this position too, because I've heard from other people as well that share their stories and tell me how coming across these scriptures has changed their lives and opened their hearts up and is really just aligning. Like one of the most recent ones, this lady's like, this makes my whole life makes sense. Like everything, it's like, oh my gosh, and just so many different ways that it connects with people. And so I definitely agree. Read the Holy Megillah. And also recently I heard some people talking about, there's a lot of different scriptures out there and different ways that we can go as individuals. And for me personally, if I have one piece of advice, it would just be to start with the Holy Megillah, because so many of the other scriptures that I've at least spent my time as a truther reading are also just, oh, there's a deer, based on the holy or the mainstream Bible and the beliefs of it. And they're really missing so many higher spiritual teachings, and that's not to discredit them, but the path of a spiritual seeker, at least, is to seek, and then once you find the path that aligns with your soul, then you spend your life dedicated to that path. That's not to say that you don't still read from other things, but you find one way, one sadhana, one practice that is going to align with you. Oh, there's so many animals around. And then you just focus on that. So you're no longer really searching, but you have that foundation. And for me, that foundation is in the Nazarene Bible. So that's where I am. All right. Some flat earthers still eat at McDonald's often. I call them diet woke. Definitely. Yeah. And it's interesting too, because they'll jump on the bandwagon and call globe earthers dumb. And it's like you only just figured out one truth, and there's so much more. Flat Earth really is like the tip of the iceberg. And yeah, it's kind of interesting because I accepted it very easily, and I don't relate as much with people who have the space dreams and are really need months and months and months of study to come around to the idea of flat earth. For me, as soon as I was already questioning, I'm just like, all right, what's the truth? What what's out there? And I saw the flat earth, you know, like example, and I'm like, oh, that already makes way more sense. So I was very easily ready to absorb those truths and accept them, and not so easy to for me to relate with people that have struggles with that. But I do understand that people do, and the more you were connected to those space fantasies, the more difficult it might be for you to let go of them. So anyways, Duty says the reason so many flat earth truthers become biblical zealots is because they have not read original Nazarene Bible. Exactly. Yeah, and again, so much of the truther content is presented through the lens of the mainstream Bible, and so it just serves to solidify everything. And then, if you question it, then you're questioning God, you're questioning if, oh, so you don't believe God's powerful enough to preserve his word. It's like, no, I never said that. I said that that wasn't his word in the first place. And so it's not a matter of if he can or can't, it's a matter of that's not. And for me, it becomes very obvious when you start actually reading the teachings in this book that these are the teachings of the true God, and that any God that is asking or requiring animal or human sacrifice is not a god at all, but a demon, and they should not be listened to. And that's part of having spiritual discernment. So it kind of sucks that so many have given that spiritual discernment away, and they're just like, all right, this is my Bible and it's the infallible word of God. So anything in it that maybe doesn't make sense, doesn't sit right with my soul, I gotta just put that to the side or figure out a way to live with it or deal with it, find someone out there that's explaining it, so that I can live with this belief system that doesn't actually sit right within me. And if we really, just listen to that soul within and all of that, we'd all be better off. Hello, bug. Let's find somewhere else to be. Bob says 240 verses of the Bible refer to flat Earth and other religious texts as well. Clearly state the truth of our realm. I definitely agree with you there, Bob. And there's probably also a reason that they are so ingrained in. They wanted to make sure that all of those Bible verses got in there as well. Um, so yeah. Anyways, Harmon Walker says that is so cool. The little bird made you lose your train of thought. Yeah, there's so many of them around here, and these little blue ones I was watching earlier, they're a little bit bullies. And I was trying to like send them nice messages of like, hey, you need to be nice, or else I'm not gonna give you any more nice. Delroy says that you can get blocks from entire comment sections, but no one tells you because no one sees your comments, unlike yourself. Yes. That is definitely true as well. When I was given some timeouts in last night's chat, there was actually multiple times. The first time I got timed out, I don't even know why I got timed out, but someone was trying to tell me that they came at me saying you serve the god of this world, and I was like, no, why are you lying about, or do you always lie about people and make stuff up like this? Like, first of all, if I serve the god of this world, I would be into animal sacrifice because that's what the god of this world is into, and I would be trying to corrupt people, which I'm not. I would be trying to teach. I'm not false things. When I got blocked, like a small timeout right after that, and then later in the chat, I got like a 5-minute ban for something else, which was uncalled for. And then a few other people, I guess, some people that I know, but then also apparently someone else went in there and was like questioning the Bible. But this Rebecca person was just like telling other people that I have multiple different accounts and all of this stuff, which I don't. I would not make fake accounts to support myself. That I'm gonna try to be nice. I think that is a loser move. As nicely as I can say that, I would not do that. Like, I would rather not have anybody around or supporting me or anybody in the live chat than make fake accounts or pay like bots or whatever. Like, that's not something that I would do. So it gets really frustrating when people try to say that I'm these other people, and like, no, you don't know me. You don't know that I would not hide behind another person's face or anything, and I would not do those things. So, anyways, this just really makes me angry. Delroy says you have really nice, clean hands or fingers. Much more, shall I say? Are you a healer? Well, I do think that we're all healers and that we all can. But the Essene, actually, the word Essene means healer or healers of the mind, body, and soul. And that is what I feel called to heal myself and also to help heal others. And in doing that, we can make this world a better place. So I'm super excited about all of that. I'm not really sure what you're saying there, Warren. I think I lost your train of thought for a little bit. So what? Hello, how's it going? Hi, Nana. Sorry, whatever happened to you. The nerve of some people. I just gotta not put any expectations into things, and also just understand that these things are happening for a reason. And I also understand wanting to cater to the audience and promote the mainstream narrative so that the most people will click on your videos. I get it. Anyways, I would not do that, but I get it. Harm Walker says, Queen Anna, in all these years, I cannot recall you being hateful. Even when you were talking about the Hollywood important inverts, you were still not hateful. I definitely have struggled with not being hateful, even towards myself. And yeah, when I first woke up, especially, I was more angry towards the powers that be and wanting to go and wage violent warfare against them and all those different feelings. But yeah, now especially because of the Megillah, I just want to show them love and give them the love that we all want and need. And yeah, I think love will help heal it. So that's where I'm at. But thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. I definitely am not perfect, and I've done a lot of angry and mean things over the years that I'm not proud of. And I'm trying to change and be better so that I can feel better about myself and the mark that I leave on this world, and also be a better ambassador for Lord and Lady Christ, because ultimately I do take seriously the message that I preach, and I want to embody the teachings that I teach and draw people towards the light and not be like, aggressively combative and pushing them away and drawing them further into darkness, because the light is so misunderstood, especially with all of the programming. Like, you walk in and tell these Christians that think that they're really full of light that, Lady Christ walked beside Christ, and that reincarnation's real, and that vegetarianism was a requirement for discipleship, and you know they're out of here. So yeah. Hootie Doodle says, I'm dealing with this exact thing. I hated all of this, but I rap. We aren't awakening at all. We have been awake. Christ is us. We are okay. Love will win. Your soul makes everything make sense. So I wanted to get all your comments there in a little bit of a in a row so that we could do that. But I definitely agree, though, that we are. I mean, in this lifetime, we are awakening, but we're remembering who we are. It's like we had amnesia. We had to forget, like, little babies and come into this world, and that kind of also goes along with the order of the Immaculate Conception, and this idea that, Mary and Joseph and Miriam's parents and Miriam and Christ were both part of this Immaculate Conception, where people were purifying themselves and abstaining from the ways of the world and doing fasting and eating pure. And during the conception period, they were actually doing different enchantments and prayers to call in holy lights. And you got to think about how much more in tune those souls are than what we're dealing with. We're kind of fighting from the back foot, where most of our parents weren't awake, and they tried the best that they could, but so often, unfortunately, they kind of went along with the mainstream agenda to jab and feed and send us to school and do all of these different things that would help to deliberately dumb us down, to cut off our connection with the divine, to make us deliberately dumb down slaves. So we're kind of fighting from the back foot, whereas these other souls came in with so much light. And it's really cool to think that we, even in our fallen state, can purify ourselves. And even first generation Immaculate Conception children can be of such amazing light. Like, that is what I'm aiming for, that I get to new family traditions that start with me, and whatever baby comes through my womb gets to be a part of that Immaculate Conception order. And I'm so excited about that. Anyways, I'm just kind of thinking about how, we're awakening, and how those souls that are born with so much light don't even have to go through this process of unlearning everything and questioning and relearning and all of that stuff. Like, they already are just there in all of that light. And I'm excited to see those souls. All right. Um, Plain and simple. Here you go. Good afternoon, and on and all. Just catching up to figure out what happened. Harmon Walker said 2 months ago she was on Sergeant's. There have been hateful people following her. Yesterday in Sergeant's chat, I guess it was rude. Definitely. And hey, Rooksy. Ruxi, Nala, Nala, Ruxi Nala. I agree. The Earth is flat, and I will not be going back on that until you can show me some curvature. And I don't believe that there is any. Everything in this observable place points to the enclosed realm and the local sun and the large, bodies of water always being flat. The stars not changing. It all confirms the enclosed realm truth. So I am discouraged with the flat earth community, but I definitely will not be changing my flat earth stance because that's just the truth of our reality. And real truthers and real flat earthers don't ever go back to the globe. So people like Jaron and the others that you're seeing that have gone back to the globe, well, in their case, they were shills. They were there on purpose. They're part of that network that was literally put into place to help wake us up, pull us in, give us different personalities, different talk shows, different scientists, different things for us to engage and be engulfed in and be controlled by, um all of that. So anyways, how can I heal? Booty Doodle says, well, it depends on what you are trying to heal. Um, uh, all things are healable, first of all. And if you can't heal in this lifetime without dropping the body, then you should still be appreciative of whatever that disease is teaching you and the compassion that you can have for others that have that. But there is not just purifying your diet with Edenic foods, trying to go natural, eating raw fruits and vegetables that are alive off of, like, you go and pick the apple and you eat it immediately. That live, pure life force energy that's really vibrant. Um, Eating right, but also fasting, and then using different herbs. There are herbs for every ailment and ways that God and Goddess have provided us to heal ourselves through purification, fasting, and herbology, essentially. I actually haven't gotten through all of the teachings. There's like a whole big chunk of Miriam's teachings that are strictly on different herbal remedies and ways to mix different herbs for different problems. And how cool is that? But yeah, there's just so much. So it really depends on what you are facing and trying to heal. So um Booty Doodle says, I don't acknowledge anything. I think, oh my gosh, am I really this far behind? Am I like a whole half an hour behind in the chat room? Okay. I am not going to spend too much longer on here, but I will just scroll through here and say, yeah. Hello, Pamela. Pamela says the earth is not flat, it's a sphere. The Bible literally says the firmament is called heaven. There is no actual bubble around earth. Well, that's okay if you would like to believe whatever, honestly, you would like to believe. But the firmament was created on day 4 of the Bible, and it actually created a separation between the heavens above, or the waters above and the waters below, and created essentially this little air bubble for us to live inside of. And the way that there's depictions that show the flat earth model and the human eye, and it's just that you giant spinning ball, and the not only is true, but it is a lot more beautiful. So you do you, boo. All right, I am gonna get off of here after I check all of these. There's a deer back there. Check all of the comments section. Sorry, I'm behind. Oh, hi, 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 hi. You want some nuts? Hi, come here. Come on. Hey, Fiona. You want some nuts? Hi. You want some nuts? Come on. Anyways, I'll be out here all night. I'll be out here all night feeding these deer. Products made from hemp, especially hempcrete, are fire resistant due to the lime and hemp fibers. Absolutely. Hempcrete is really, really cool thing that we should definitely talk about in the future. I actually don't know. I remember at one time reading a lot about it, but I don't know enough to talk about it right now. But the different ways that hemp can be just replacing everything is so, so cool. I hope that deer comes up here. Hello, Dobro. How's it going? Do these demonic inverted entities deserve loving attitude? Well, I think that some of the stuff that has, hmm, I think that all of these souls are children of God and Goddess, and that they love us all no matter how far we have fallen. And so, in that, there are brothers and sisters that we should love, and we have the ability, like, especially if you are able to put yourself on higher spiritual truths and levels, that you can kind of rise above being affected by what they're doing and show them love, because you kind of understand the position that they are in as a less spiritually mature soul. That's your brother and sister, right? Sorry, I was looking at the wrong camera here. And so, being that they are a divine spark of Yah, they deserve love. But also, on a personal level, the energy that we put out is really important. So, whether or not they deserve love, at some point on the spiritual journey, it's like, okay, well, I know that the energy that I put out matters. So, whether or not they deserve love or, hi, he's so pretty. Hi, 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 hi. Hi, hi, hi. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come here. Come, come, come. Hey, birds. Let the deer have some food. Oh, I'm so excited. Come, 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 come. Whether or not they deserve it, we should consider our own karma and how it's going to affect us, what we put out. So we can treat them meanly and be bad to them because they deserve it, and we can justify it, but also understanding that that karma is going to come back to us as well. And at one point, are you not essentially just like them if you're putting out the same kind of energy that they are in some different ways? So, was that a sneeze? Are you so cute? Can you guys see them? Oh my gosh. Hey Kyle, how's it going? Kyle says it's your group. Set new rules and announce it. Well, that is a good point too. Oh my gosh. Do you want some more nuts? Hello, Robert. Robert says that hurts. I followed Mark for 10 years and I'm not religious. Oh, yeah. And how do you feel about the recent changes that the show's taken on a more religious spin? Rudy says that you helped me so much, and I also get what you mean. Aw, thanks. I'm glad to help in any ways that I can. And hi. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by these. I got some carrots for you. My girl has no idea. Oh, maybe I shouldn't read that one out loud. Everyone else on YouTube can see. Okay. Is there like a support button or tip option here? I don't take any money for what I do, but I appreciate that. And maybe someday I will feel called to do that, but right now I do not. I'm also getting off of here as well because I'm getting really distracted by these little deer here. Hi. Aw. Okay, Booty says, my girl has no idea, but we do porn. You're spiritual, connected with me, but I found you for a reason. I'm not really sure if you mean, but you do that and she doesn't, or that she's involved and she doesn't know it. Either way probably isn't very good. Hi, come on. It's okay. I know I'm being really loud. Oh, did you really just shake your head at me? Oh my gosh, that was so cute. Um, what we're doing matters. And I think especially sexual energy is really important. And we have, as a society, been taught that it is something that maybe should be just experienced more as a pleasure thing. It's a physical thing. And whether you're with someone or you're not with someone or whatever, it's a relief, it's a feel good thing, it's a comfort thing, it's all these different things. And fundamentally, at least for me, sex is sacred, and both sexes should be mindful about what they are engaging in and not taking it very lightly what they are doing. If you haven't seen my porn stars are male video yet, I would definitely encourage you to. I show myself next to some porn star bodies and the differences. Oh, hi, in the different features. And yeah, it's the pornography that is out there is not meant to uplift your soul. And yeah, there's a reason that it is so prevalent and promoted in our world. So I'm really excited for the day that it is not, and for the times when people understand the sacredness of sexual energy and all of the beauty that is intended with it, and that connection between the male and the female, and all of that exciting creativity that exists within nature all around us, and tapping into that god and goddess energy. Like, that is some really cool stuff that we should be mindful about how we engage with it. So um Booty says, I am trying to get away from this. Oh, well, that's good. And I understand that it is a stronghold for a lot of people, and that it is addictive and, like I said, comforting, and all these different manners. And there are demons that literally want to keep people in lifestyles that they can live vicariously through you, and through those connections that you are making with whoever's on the other side of the screen. There's an energetic exchange that's going on, and you are binding yourself to these entities, whether you even know them, whether they know you, any of that. And there are demons that are feeding off of that energy and binding themselves to you to keep you coming back for more, and they will give you urges and feed into that so that you continue to do that. And especially when it comes to pornography, they want to lead you down really destructive paths. And hi, oh, are you looking at the screen? Do you want to see my live stream, cutie? They will drag you down to really disgusting places and dark places. And the further that you will allow that demon's, whisperings, to the further that you associate with it and say, oh yeah, I want that, then and click on it, um it's ready to take you on that slide as fast as possible. So um yeah, I understand it, and I understand the demons behind it and the struggle. So um yeah, know that you're not alone, and that it is designed on purpose to be addictive and to drag you to places that are very low. And so have some grace with yourself as you're trying to navigate those waters, and change yourself from a lifetime of things, you know. God and Goddess still love you. I know everything is messed up. I want to be Christ-like, but I go broke. Well, one thing about being broke is that you don't have so many opportunities to participate in sinful behaviors. Just kidding, but oh, there's a bug in my ear. Um, yeah, the powers that be definitely want us to be desperate, and when we start aligning with the path and being truthful, and hi, um oh, it's not gonna come over if I turn you over here. Hi. The more that we align ourselves with our true purpose, the forces of darkness are going to try to stop us, and that could include, not not having your job, or family members losing friends, all of these different things. So Harm Walker says, I agree with you. There just seems to be something off, like sincerity and good heart. Definitely. And it's kind of hard to, once you're in these different topics, when you're just kind of focused on them forever and ever and ever. Yeah, there needs to be different growth. David E says that porn is 100% from Satan. That's why so much porn is free. Soon they will force us to watch. Well, they definitely already try to force it in different ways and try to even bathing suit ads in different ways that they have been trying to desensitize and unclothe us hi for so long already. So this is the last one that I have. All right. Artist says, I like the fact that you have a nice, not too fast rhythm when you talk. So a person like me, that English is my third language, can follow it very well. Aw, cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I will keep that in mind too, because sometimes I can get a little fast and excited and yeah. Cool. Hello, Margaret. How are you doing? Glad to see that you are here. Bob says, thanks for your recent gift of the Megillah, which proves timely. Oh, I've also have the PDF, so we'll soon find myself searching some references to the flat earth since this podcast has inspired me. Cool. Yeah, some of the things about the Megillah's creation story are interesting because it talks more about sacred geometry and these different shapes that are created in/around the mother ovum. And so I would really love to collaborate with someone who can do different graphics on that and actually create something that we can look at that shows us, what it looks like. Hi, you're so cute. Oh, hi, go ahead. Okay. I was born and raised 20 miles from Quartzsite. I'm 2 hours from there now, and I'm not going. It is good that you are not going. In my opinion, to me, there are not positive waves there. I actually agree with you, and I likely am not inclined to go to any of these different truther things. But with the different recent happenings and being on Mark's show and trying to reach out to more truthers, I was kind of excited to go. But I guess I'm glad that this all happened before I bought tickets. So, but that would have been cool because I was also considering going and just being like not actually going to the event itself, but just being there in the area and trying to meet other people that were there. So we'll see what happens anyways. I probably won't go, but yeah. Margaret says that literally they don't care. Fabians have a method, draw you into conflict and present themselves as a fellow sheep. Definitely. Definitely agree with that. And then, yeah, keep fueling it. So Kyle said, feed any squirrels today. No, I have not, Kyle. Just these beautiful deer. So cute. You're supposed to be eating it. David D says Rebecca is the cause of all of this drama. Exactly. And Margaret said, I've dealt with Rebecca before. Okay. So you know who exactly we're talking about. Cool. Booty says, why do you identify as what you would you identify as your name, even if given from birth, what you promote? I'm not sure why do you identify as what you oppose? I'm not really sure what you mean by any of that. If you're talking about me. All right. I am gonna get off of here. Margaret says the accuser is a loose cannon. I definitely agree with that. And it's just interesting to see that people are allowed to just go on like that and that support is given on one hand and then like just not from the same people, but the same people, that's my finger. The same people that support you will just let these kinds of things happen and and just sit by while you are attacked and lied about and even silenced by their own people and not do anything. So it definitely is telling of people's true self. So hello, Frog Spray. Frog Sprog, sorry. I open minded, we play or leave host. I'm not really sure. Um, okay. Somebody says, why did you tattoo on your body? Do they have any benefits? I got all of my tattoos before I started my awakening experience, and I just am programmed and find tattoos and piercings attractive. And I understand that they are demonic, and I know do that anything new or anything like that. But just dealing with what's going on in the past. Drop down, I think. Bob says, for most of our lives, the end of daylight savings was the last Sunday of October. It was changed during the Bush administration to the second Sunday in November. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. Here you go, little squirrel. Let's see if he goes for it. Margaret said, hello, dear family. They are so cute. Okay. Bob says this year daylight savings time has been advanced to the first Sunday of the month, which is November 2nd, for no apparent reason. Interesting. All of the daylight saving times thing has always been a little bit, you know, just interesting. They're just trying to make it so that we have more time for slavery, right? But yeah. It does kind of make sense that things change, but if we had a universal time where just everything was just on the same time, and that would just be a lot better instead of what we have in the calendar that we have that is not in sync with nature. Let me move this over here a little bit. Okay. Bob said this might coincide with the forecasted great reset happening very, very soon. Oh, hi. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they have planned for us with all the things in the news and the alien disclosure and all of the other things. I know that with the AI advancements, these end times that have been prophesied are coming even faster. But at the same time, it's going to take some time for people to be more accepting and actually, accept these metallic robot aliens when the artificial seraphim when they actually emerge. So it'll have to progress a little bit more before then. So I'm trying to move so you guys can see this little lady, but David says animals approach you because they know you are pure. Yeah, it's been really, really nice. Like I keep saying, over the past especially year, I've had so many awesome interactions with animals. Margaret said Sergeant is just following the trade winds. Kyle said, I'm so jealous that you're surrounded by deer. Yeah, I know. It's so cute. Aw. Hey, Kyle Smith, how's it going? So cool. The deer eating the carrots. Yeah, I actually have some other footage of me feeding them out of my hands that I meant to put like a little video to, but I haven't gotten to it yet because I've been too busy feeding them. They're so cute. Kyle said, I want to feed deer. Yeah, I'm surprised that they are so calm and natural. In Mount Shasta, they're pretty nice as well. So it's interesting that sometimes they're not afraid, but other times that they are. It's just like, how do you know when is when? Maybe there's certain areas that they know are more permeated by hunters, and that's why they're there. All right. So Dave D says Mark is in a hard place right now. Most of their supporters are biblical zealots, but Mark knows that there is more. Definitely. Yeah. Thank God I don't have to care about followers. I just get to like speak the truth. And if you don't like it, then don't watch it. And if you're here, then you're not. I'm gonna do what my soul came here to do, regardless. And and who cares? I'm not monetized. Anytime that you see any commercials or anything like that, it's because I've used their song, usually some form of media that is copyrighted, and so they can monetize it, but I don't get money for anything. This is not a job for me. This is my soul's work, and I'm happy to do it. And I know that the right people will hear the message, and I am developing my methods to help reach out to people that are not yet ready and to bring them in as well. So I know it's still a learning process and process for me. I'm still making progress and trying to become a better ambassador of Lord and Lady Christ, and just a better version of me. So I'm excited. Anyways, um, uh, Frog Frog says, so flat Earth remind you at in this time. I am a flat earther, if that is what you are asking. Yeah, but yes, so normal, but believe in flat stuff. Well, you should look into flat Earth before knock it, because large bodies of water are always level and flat. The sun, if it is especially hiding behind clouds, you can see the crepuscular rays that go up. And if you're into geometry, you can actually see like the triangle where the sun is, and it shows that the sun is not 93 million miles away from the Earth. The constellations have not changed since the beginning of recorded history. There's lots of different things that show us that we're not living on a giant spinning ball that's whirling through infinite space by choice and or by chance, and just doing its lovely thing in that chaotic universe. And thank God and Goddess that we're not in that chaotic universe of just random collision. And oh my, there's an asteroid the size of three walruses, or is it walrus? There's an asteroid the size of three walrus coming at us, like all of these silly, measurements that NASA does these days. But yeah, I'm grateful that we don't live in that universe and we don't have to be worried about those kinds of things. And that one of the things waking up to flat Earth was like being in this like snow globe in this perfectly cared for position of where you would put something that you treasure and love and care for, not in this chaotic world of, oh no, watch out for the walrus asteroid, all of these random things that could happen, and a danger, and the even just the, oh well, we've been to Mars and they're like, we didn't go to heaven. Where's heaven, right? This spiritual distance that is placed between us and our creator, when physically you look at the flat earth model, and heaven is literally right above us and is right there, as opposed to the globe earth model where Australia is this way, we're up here, heaven's above for both of us is the opposite direction. And scientists have been all the way miles and miles and miles and miles, and there is no heaven. And so it separates us in that manner from God as well. So overall, flat earth is just really beautiful, and whatever you want to believe, but I think that there is something really beautiful to accepting the truth and finding flat earth and that connection with the divine. So that's all I'm going to say about that. um cool. Oh, interesting. Margaret said that Sargent went on a Russell Brand show. I actually did not know that. That's really interesting, and I will look into that because um, I didn't know that. It's really funny. I used to, before I woke up, really liked Russell Brand and Super Nanny, those two, and I would like listen to them and kind of like try to do an accent back and like learn it from them. So, all right, I'm going to get off of here, and that being said, yeah, I will catch up with you tomorrow for the noontime peace contemplation so that we can pray together, because that is really important. Families that pray together stay together, and we need to stay together as a spiritual truther family here. So yeah, I will be here at noon tomorrow to pray with you. And if you ever want any specific topics for me to dive into or anything like that, just let me know, either here on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, or Queen on a Snow at Hotmail. That's my old thing, at gmail.com, not at Hotmail anymore. Yeah. I hope that you have a wonderful day and evening. May God and the Goddess empower you and light your way.